Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and today we're going to be having a look at a mod that just recently dropped on consoles. Now, like I said before, as of the date of recording this video, this mod is available on consoles, although if you're watching this video in the future, it may have been temporarily removed from the browser for an update, but if it has, then I would rest assured that it will be back soon. So, with that out of the way, and with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into Crazy's 6x6 Dodge Ram. Now, this was based off of a Ram 1500, well, I should say loosely based, because it's been stretched a lot. I mean, this has basically limousine levels of frame stretch, and it's kind of necessary because there's another axle under there. Now, in addition to a couple of stylistic choices like the blacked out taillights and things like that, it also does have an interior. Now, granted, most of the interior isn't really all of that textured, it's mostly all black, but nonetheless, it does have an interior still. So let's go ahead and go back into the exterior view because that's where we're going to be staying most of this drive, and also, let's have a look at that gigantic, what, moonroof? Alright, so let's fire this thing up, get it into the garage, and customize it a little bit, and then we'll take it out to the testing grounds and see what it's like to drive. The startup sound is definitely on the more interesting side, and it's got this odd, turbo blow-off sound, and I'm not quite sure if that's because this particular engine is supposed to be boosted, or if that's just kind of a side effect of the sound file he used. So let's go straight into the customization. Now, the basic engine is an S+ power to weight rating. If you go to the stock, vanilla spec, it basically keeps the S+, but makes it less durable. Then you have the towing setup, then you also have the Hellcat engine setup, which is a lot. It's definitely rated as overpowered. Now, gearbox-wise, we got the vanilla gearbox, standard gearbox, sport, and crawler. We're going to start with the, we're going to start with the standard and then go with the sport a little bit later on. Now, suspension-wise, you have default off-road, high off-road, and then you have active flex suspension for crawling. Then you have towing for a gooseneck application. Then you have the unbreakable off-road and unbreakable crawler. Now, the unbreakable crawler is the one we're going to be going with at the moment, but obviously that suspension choice is completely and totally up to you in terms of how you build this truck. So into the tire selection now. Now, we start off with a set of 38s, but then you can go up to a 40 or a 43 in the generic off-road basic set. Then you've got the sport set, which is kind of this weird, directional wheel design. I'm not sure it's really for me, but you also have some Baja claws that it says they only go up to a 39, but they kind of look a little bit bigger than a 39 to me. I like these off-road tires with kind of an interesting, white and red beadlock wheel setup. So as we go down the oh god, those are very, very deep, and also, they don't seem to line up with the hub. That's kind of interesting. I do like these, and I'm not sure where he got the BFG title for these, because I'm not sure these are actually a BFG compound, but nevertheless, down onto our next set of tires, and I'm thinking that I might start off with these, and then we'll go from there. These do have, obviously, a basic set, like an upgraded set, and they also have a OP rated set. Now, if you are going to do basically, if you're going to do any exploring in an icy or snowy environment, you do have these studded tires down here that are actually double duals, which, if you want something that'll just literally go up everything, this is a great option for that. Now, into the winch selections. So we have the basic offline winch, the default vanilla winch, and the extended offline winch. We also have a overpowered or over-the-top winch, so you can basically cater this truck to any kind of gameplay style you'd like. Now, moving down the list into the diff lock, I'm going to go ahead and throw the engageable diff lock on the truck, and then we have a couple of different snorkel options, and this one is actually a front-facing snorkel unlocked at level 1, which is kind of nice to have if you're using this on a modded map. There's also a gooseneck hitch available in the bed. We're not going to go ahead and throw it on this one because obviously this one's a flex suspension, but the option is there if you wanted to use this truck for work. Now, rooftop-wise, you've got a flasher bar in case you wanted it to sort of be some kind of fire truck. You do have a idea that you can go with these little bit of stripes. I don't know if you might want to do that, but my personal favorite is these that are kind of spaced out to the edges of the hood. So trunk add-ons wise, you have steps that you can do. They're kind of huge though, and I feel like they would get caught on some things. You have a couple of different fuel tanks you can do. That one's kind of like a machinery style fuel tank. Then there's a little bit of a kind of a style bar, roll bar setup in the bed. There's also a wing or a spoiler that you can put at the back of the bed, which it doesn't really do anything, but it looks ridiculous enough to where I kind of just like running it sometimes just sheerly for the ridiculous aspect of it. And you also have a tonneau cover that you can use if you so desire. Now, logos-wise, you can throw the 808 modding logo on the front there, but if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. Then in the front bumper selection, you have bumpers that are kind of a little bit different than all of the others. This one is definitely the one that promotes the most clearance. This one's going to be more of your kind of like backcountry brush guard style, and then that one's going to be factory. I'm going to go with the first one up here, which is oddly labeled bumper 2, even though it's kind of bumper 1. And miscellaneous-wise, I got a caged beacon, 2 square beacons, and a searchlight. I'm not really going to go for any of those. I don't really think they necessarily fit this particular style, but if you want to use them, they are there. I'm going to stick with the standard rear bumper, and you've got actually a pretty good selection of roof racks here, though. I'm going to go with the roof rack 2 that goes up on the roof of the truck. And fenders wise, you can extend them if you'd like to, but I think it actually looks really good with this particular offset on the stock fenders. And this particular tire only really comes with this one wheel, but that's not really an issue. I think it's a good looking wheel. Now, when you go through the colors, the stripes do stay, which is kind of nice. You can kind of pair them with really whatever color setup you'd like. I do like the colors that he has on display here. They're kind of, they're all really vibrant. They all work with the style of the truck. And no matter what kind of style you're trying to go for, they all work very, very well. I do like the bright red, and I also like kind of like this off, like, you know, it's kind of like off, like, or more orangey red, but we're going to go with a bright red on this one, and I'm sure there's going to be somebody in the comments that's going to go, you use red on everything. Although, the truck in the last video wasn't red, so there is that. Or, well, maybe it was red. Maybe I'm contradicting myself on that one. I'm going to have to go back and check before I make that statement. All right, let's go on and leave the garage and see what this thing is like to drive. Fires right up, and if we back into the trailer store, let me go ahead and turn it around real quick. We'll throw it back into low, pull it back around to the front, and just kind of align it so it's not necessarily like leaning over too far. But as you can see, it is compatible with the IR gooseneck pack, and it's also compatible with some of these low saddle and high saddle trailers. What the heck? I didn't realize it was compatible with those. Maybe that's a glitch, or maybe not, because I didn't see saddle high in the add-ons list. Is it here? Bro, so there's a fifth wheel hitch, but I guess that interfaces with, like, just about everything? Oh my god. I guess it does. That's odd. I didn't expect that. I really did not expect to see that as an option. That really surprises me. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and give it a quick test and see what it's like on some of the initial obstacles. Now, driving it out of the garage with the top-tier engine is definitely, I mean, it makes you aware of how much power is underneath this thing right off the get-go. Let's see if we just storm it through the river, see how it reacts to that. Throw it into high. Dude, oh my god. Oh my god, that is wild. That is ridiculous. It just, like, floated right through there. And the nice thing about this flex setup is that if you want to go full, like, no damage and do basically a setup that will just monster right through everything, you do have the option to do that. But if you want to keep it a little bit more vanilla game focused, you can actually turn that suspension damage back on by visiting the garage once again and selecting a damageable suspension. So it really does do a great job of catering to whatever gameplay style you want to actually have. Now let's make our way up this rock obstacle here. And with that added traction of the 6x6 configuration, it really does not care where you point it. It just wants to go. You know, it literally just wants to go, and it's like, oh, you want to go that way? Cool, we can do it. So let's make our way down to the left here real quick. Whoa, the back end came out like a lot. All right, let's make our way through this mud. Seems to be doing very, very, very well. Nothing to complain about at all so far. Let's try the very first mud lane and see how it makes its way through that. Easy. Dude, not bad. All right, let's go to the second mud lane now. Okay, it slowed really, really quickly, but all you have to do is put it back into automatic mode and it'll go back into first gear. And in first gear, even without the lockers being on, it's got, like, really impeccable traction and it's good to go right through there. Now, I have an interesting idea. I want to see how it does in the dips obstacle, sure, but I also have a little bit of a climbing test in mind. Let's throw the lockers on. I mean, I'm sure we don't even really need them, but God, that rebound is interesting. It definitely pitches you forward a lot, but then again, the way it compresses is pretty nice. It's just like the rebound is kind of tuned in an odd way. I was expecting it to flip over there. That's why it took a little bit longer with that sentence, but like, the rebound really does want to fling the truck forward, and I'm sure that there's a part of my driving in that particular obstacle that causes it to fling forward as well. And really, at the end of the day, you can adapt you're driving to any vehicle that you want, but there's also an element of tuning out different elements of the way something drives, especially with suspension tuning. So that would definitely be something that I think, you know, if I was doing the suspension tuning, I might want to look at, but at the same time, it might be very well tuned to how the creator likes to drive it, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. So at the end of the day, I mean, if he signed off on the tuning, then I completely understand. Let's make my way through. God, with this setup, it just storms right through these trails. That's pretty wild. I mean, really all it's picking up is tire damage, and obviously that's because it's got a, you know, a no damage suspension option. That's why the suspension shows as being fully damaged out already. It's not. It just can't pick up any more damage than it already has. So let's put it through a little bit of a climbing test right here. Now, I'm not sure how well this is going to go, but I don't really see any reason why it wouldn't get, you know, extremely far up this little miniature mountain. Yeah, I mean, it's got so many points of contact with the ground that you really don't ever have to even worry about it. All I had to do was, like, moderately adjust it the way it was pointing, and it was fine. I mean, it was literally good to... Oh, God. Yep, nope. I wondered if it would be able to, like, turn itself around right there, but it was not interested. Not whatsoever. Can you, like, not and say you did? Okay, this is a predicament now, isn't it? You just couldn't go to one of those solid winch points, could ya? It would have been too difficult, wouldn't it? Come on. And that's not against the truck at all. That's more like, that's just a overall issue with the quick winching system in the game as a whole. But I do want to see if I can still climb that mountain, and honestly, with the configuration of the wheels, I almost wonder if it would climb better in reverse, but that's neither here nor there. All right, we're gonna go ahead and try to head up this side. Lockers on, we'll run it in low plus, and this climb should be absolutely zero problem. Absolutely zero problems. Oh, dude, yeah, it just clawed its way right up the side. Right up the side. No worries whatsoever. Oh my god. Yeah, it absolutely just made its way right through. Threw it in high because I wanted to see what it would do on the way down, and it got a little bit rolly, but at the end of the day, I expected it to get a little rolly, but I didn't quite expect it to get that rolly. That's, I mean, a lot more rolly than I really would have expected at all. So let me see if I can turn it back over. Wow, that went really, really, really well. All right, repair and refuel. Now we're gonna go with the racing gearbox as we head to the bridge jump. Now, I wanted to go ahead and refresh it there to make sure it added the extra gear, because this thing with the racing gearbox, from the little bit of driving I've done with the racing gearbox on another occasion besides this video, it's pretty fast, and it's not something that I would consider any kind of slouch at all. You enjoying yourself in there, Beans? Huh? He's like, yep, I'm good. I'm good. Just don't hit any trees, please. All right, ooh. Wow, that was actually a really smooth landing. That was a genuinely smooth landing, and, like, mad props to that. Absorbing, like, rough landings like that is kind of tricky for some trucks, and I'm kind of glad to see that this one just kind of takes them just fine. All right, boys, here we go. Making our way down the bridge jump. Gonna hit 6th. There's 6th. Full on, and... oop. I mean, it kind of buried the front bumper in the edge, but, like, it still barely got any damage at all. So if this is something that you guys are interested in, and it looks like something that would fit your playstyle, definitely check this truck out. I had a blast driving it, and it's definitely one that I would like to revisit in the future, maybe do some racing with, maybe do some obstacle courses with. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, and of course, subscribe if you're new, and turn those notifications on, and I will see y'all next time. Talk to y'all later.